Good morning, children. I welcome you all to a new class in physics today. In today's class, we'll start with a new topic or a new chapter, and that is reflection of light. I'm very sure that you already know the term. What do you mean by reflection? So let's look at what do you mean by reflection of light. Here with the help of a diagram, I've shown you that a ray of light is striking a surface. Now, when a ray of light strikes a surface, we say that it is incident on the surface. And when it is incident on the surface, what happens to the ray of light? A part of it gets absorbed and the remaining part bounces back from the surface. So we say that the return of light into the same medium after striking a surface is called reflection. And we see reflection of light all around us. Children, we are able to see different objects around us due to the phenomenon of reflection of light. That is, when light strikes different surfaces, a part of it is absorbed and remaining gets reflected back, and it is perceived by our eyes and we are able to see them. So therefore, our sight is totally dependent upon the phenomenon of reflection. Okay. Now here I would like to tell you one thing, children. It depends upon the surface. Suppose if light is incident on an opaque object, then you will see that a part of it gets reflected and the remaining part gets absorbed. But if light is incident on a transparent object, in that case, you will find that there is very little of absorption and more of transmission. Okay, or more of reflection. Right, children? So it depends upon basically the phenomenon of reflection depends upon the surface on which light is incident. Now let us look at the two types of reflection. In order to understand the two types of reflection, children, I have drawn ray diagrams for you. You can have a look. The first one shows regular reflection and the second one shows irregular or diffused reflection. Now let us see what is the difference between the two. In the first case, you can see that parallel rays of light, I have drawn parallel rays of light and they are incident on a plane mirror surface or a plane surface. It could be a plane mirror, it could be a polished surface. Light is incident on it parallel, and you can see that after striking the surface, the rays of light get reflected back parallel in the same manner in a systematic pattern, and this is known as regular reflection. On the other hand, you can see that parallel rays of light, they strike an irregular surface or a rough surface, and due to this, when the light is striking a rough surface, the reflected rays get reflected in different directions, and such a type of reflection is called irregular reflection. You will be surprised to know, children, that maximum reflection which takes place around us falls in this category. That is, we are able to see the different objects around us due to irregular reflection, because the surfaces on which light is incident is not smooth or polished always, but it is irregular. So that type of reflection is said to be diffused or irregular. After this, we move on to the next topic. I have made a two-pointer thing over here. I'll just read it out for you, children, and I want you to listen to it carefully. A highly polished surface, such as a plane mirror, reflects almost the entire light falling on it. Okay, while on the other hand, diffused reflection obtained by reflection from various uneven surfaces enables us to see the objects around us. So it is basically diffused reflection which helps us to see the different objects around us. Okay, now I am going to introduce some important terms to you, children. We are going to look at all the terms one by one, and for that, for a better understanding, I have taken the help of this diagram. You can see I have drawn a polished surface. This is the incident ray which is striking the surface, and after striking the surface, the ray gets reflected back. So this is the reflected ray, and I have drawn a perpendicular to the surface, and this perpendicular is called as normal. I have labeled it as N. Now I pick up one by one. I have noted 8 different points over here, and I'm going to give you the definition one by one. Let us look at the first one. What is an incident ray, children? What is an incident ray? A ray of light which strikes a surface. A ray of light striking a surface is known as an incident ray. Let us look at the second one. What is a reflected ray? The ray of light which you can say the ray of light obtained after reflection from the surface is known as the reflected ray. The ray of light obtained after reflection from the surface is said to be reflected ray. Let's look at the third one, point of incidence. You can see a point O over here where the incident ray is striking. So we say that point of incidence is that point on which the incident ray strikes the surface. Okay. Then we go to the fourth one, normal. It is a perpendicular drawn at the point of incidence to the surface. A perpendicular drawn at the point of incidence to the surface is said to be normal. Now normal makes an angle of 90 degree with the surface. Now what is angle of incidence? You can see I have marked here angle I, children. Have a look. Now this angle I is known as angle of incidence. It is the angle between the incident ray and the normal. What is angle of reflection? It is the angle between the reflected ray and the normal. What is normal? Okay, sorry children, I have repeated normal twice. We have already done normal. It is a perpendicular drawn at the point of incidence to the surface. What is plane of reflection? The plane of reflection is that plane in which we include the normal and the reflected ray. And similarly, we have a plane of incidence. A plane of incidence is that surface which includes the incident ray and the normal. So you should know all these definitions along with this diagram, and you should always draw a well labeled diagram. This is called angle of incidence. This is called angle of reflection. This is called normal. This is called the incident ray which actually strikes a surface. This is the reflected ray which bounces back. This is called the point of incidence. I hope you have understood all the terms carefully. I want you to go through them and also the diagram carefully. Fine. After this, we come to laws of reflection. There are two important laws of reflection. The first law states that the measure of angle of incidence is always equal to the measure of angle of reflection. Suppose if a ray of light is incident at an angle 30 degree, it is going to get reflected back through the same angle. So therefore, we say that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. And the second important law is that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal, they all at the point of incidence, they lie in the same plane. If you look at this diagram again, just a minute children, if you look at this diagram once again, you can see that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal, they are lying in the same plane of the paper. Okay, and I told you that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So these are the two laws of reflection which you should know. Now here I want to make one more important point very clear to you, that when a ray of light is incident normal to a surface, suppose you can see in this diagram children, I have shown you a ray of light which is incident normal. How is it incident normal? It is making an angle of 90 degree with the surface. So here if I ask you what is the angle of incidence, the angle of incidence is 0 degree because the ray of light is incident on the normal. Okay, so therefore the angle of incidence is 0 and the angle of reflection is also 0. In such a case, what is it that you have to understand is that when a ray of light is incident normally on a plane mirror or could be any surface, then the light gets reflected back along the same path. This follows the reversibility principle. That is, when a ray of light is incident normal to the surface, it gets reflected back normal along the same path. You can see I have drawn the arrows. Okay. After this, we move on to the next topic, and that is, let us look at two types of images are formed. Children, normally, when light is incident on a surface, two types of images could be formed. One is a real image and other is a virtual image. Now, let us look at the difference between what is a real image and what is a virtual image. I have put down the important points of differentiation for you. The real image is an image which is formed by actual intersection of the reflected rays. That is, when the reflected rays actually meet at a point, there a real image is formed. And what about a virtual image? A virtual image is an image which is formed when actually the reflected rays don't meet, but we pull them backwards in order to make them meet. Okay, so that is a virtual image. See children, I want to tell you over here, the real image and virtual image topic will be more clear as I progress further with the chapter. Okay, next is that a real image is an image which is obtained on the screen, while a virtual image cannot be obtained on the screen. And a real image is always mostly inverted. Yes, it is always inverted. Inverted means upside down. While a virtual image is an erect image. It is upright image. And what forms a real image in our day-to-day life? A concave mirror forms a real image. And what forms a virtual image, children? A convex or a plane mirror forms a virtual image. Okay. So next I come to a topic called lateral inversion. What is the meaning of the word lateral? Lateral means sideways, and inversion means when the left appears to be the right side and the right appears to be the left side. Now, how do you actually define it? The interchange of the left and right sides in the image of an object in a plane mirror is called lateral inversion. You know, it's a very simple task. I will give you one small task to do at home, children. I want you to write. See here, I've made in order to understand lateral inversion in a better way, I will give you a task to do, but that I will tell you later on. First, let's proceed further. I have written some alphabets in English, and these alphabets, they do not show lateral inversion. They do not show lateral inversion. That is A, H, I, M, O, T, U, V, W, X and Y. These are the alphabets which do not show lateral inversion. And let's look at the alphabets which show lateral inversion. And for convenience sake, I have shown how do they look like, when you write these alphabets, that is B, C, D, E, F, G, J, K, L, and there are few more, and you place them you place them in front of a plane mirror, they will appear to be laterally inverted. You can see B appears like this, C appears like this. This is called lateral inversion. These are laterally inverted images. Can you see? Okay, so these are all laterally inverted images which look, this is what do you mean by lateral inversion, that is sideways inversion. There are few more I have drawn, that is N, P, Q, R, S and Z. All these are lateral inversions, children. And what you need to do, what is your task now? Let me tell you. You can write on a paper, you can write down ambulance on a paper, but you have to write it in a manner in which I have written. See, A does not have a lateral inversion. So A, M is as it is, but all other B, L, N, C and E, I have laterally inverted them and I have written. Write down, take a plain sheet of paper, children, write down ambulance in the manner I have written from right to left and in a laterally inverted fashion. And you hold this sheet of paper in front of a plane mirror, looking mirror in which you see your image every day after you get dressed up. And when you put that sheet of paper, you will be amazed to see that you can read it straight from left to right in a proper manner. It should be. Okay, now that is because a plane mirror shows lateral inversion. Okay, so that is a question which is asked as a reasoning question. When you see an ambulance, on an ambulance, the letters are written in a laterally inverted manner. Why so? The question is asked, why is it written in this manner? Because what happens, basically ambulance has a siren also, but it is to be given priority on a highway or on a road. If you're driving ahead of an ambulance and if there's an ambulance passing by, you need to give way to the ambulance. You know that because there may be a patient inside, there could be an emergency case. So it is written in an laterally inverted fashion because while driving, if you're driving a car or a scooter, you will see that we have a plane mirror fixed inside the car to look behind what is coming. So when you see the laterally inverted ambulance written in your plane mirror inside your car, it appears to be straightened up and you can read it very easily and you can give way. But if it would have been written in a straightforward manner, in that case you could have read it laterally inverted. So that would have been a problem. That's why it is written in a lateral inverted manner, so that you can read it very clearly in the plane mirror inside your car and give way to the ambulance. And please do this activity, children. I want you to perform this activity by writing this in the same manner and holding that sheet of paper in front of a plane mirror. You will see that it is observed as in a proper manner, written as ambulance in the same manner. See, I'm writing it for you. It will appear in this manner when you look into it in the plane mirror. Okay, right? Now we come to I told you that lateral inversion is shown by spherical mirrors, that is concave and convex mirrors, okay, as well as a plane mirror. It shows a laterally inverted image, and this laterally inverted image also has some other characteristics. Let's look at the different characteristics of the image formed in a plane mirror. The image formed is erect or upright, okay. It is always erect and upright. It is laterally inverted, as I explained to you above. It is virtual. I explained to you what is a virtual image. It is not formed on the screen. It is of the same size as the object, and the image distance is equal to the object distance. So these are the main characteristics of the image formed in a plane mirror, out of which we studied virtual. I explained it to you, and I also explained lateral inversion. The rest we will study in the when I progress ahead with the chapter. Okay, so that's all for today's class, children. Very quickly, we have a recap of what we did today. I explained you the phenomenon. What do you mean by the phenomenon of reflection of light? And I told you that you are able to see objects around you due to reflection. And there are basically two types of reflection depending on the surface on which the light is incident. One regular and the other irregular. After this, I explained you the different terms. I explained you the different terms which were used in reflection, that is incident ray, reflected ray, point of incidence, normal, angle of incidence, angle of reflection, plane of incidence and plane of reflection. Okay, children. After this, we studied about laws of reflection. Okay, we studied the laws of reflection, children. There were two laws, and this was a special case. When light is incident normally, it gets reflected along the same path. Then we studied the difference between a real and a virtual image. Okay, after which I picked up the topic of lateral inversion, and I gave you examples that these alphabets do not get laterally inverted. You can try them out. If you write a or a H or a I or a M on a paper and you place it in front of the plane mirror, they will appear in the same manner. Okay, while these alphabets show lateral inversion. And I gave you an activity to be performed, children. You will perform it and get back to me whether you will write this ambulance in this manner and it will appear in this manner. Okay, and I told you towards the end that lateral inversion is shown by concave and convex mirrors as well as by a plane mirror, and the other characteristics of the image are erect and upright, laterally inverted, virtual, same size, and image distance is equal to object distance. Okay, children, so that's all for the class today. I want you to go through these topics very carefully from your textbook, look at the diagrams, practice them, and I proceed with the chapter ahead in the next class and will take your doubts for sure. Thank you, children.